Hey, thanks for joining us. It's me and Dr. V. There's the doctor, smiling as always. Had me out working for hours on this one. I can't believe it. Demanding. You don't know what a demanding guy he is. But thank you all for being here.
Show me the data.
And we got a lot of data. He made me come up with data today like you wouldn't believe. Spartacus and whomever else is here, thank you for coming. Good to see you, and hopefully we'll have a really good one. Let's come right in here and start talking. We're basically, you saw our title, and the title ends up with, is everything okay? And that's what we're going to keep coming back to here as we talk about what's going on and how things are happening in America right now. Food, SNAP, food stamps are finished. Isn't it interesting that you have a president who went to the Supreme Court to stop SNAP payments to give people 42 million or thereabouts, Americans, the extra money they need to be able to eat. And he went up to the Supreme Court to stop it, to find any excuse, yet he finds cash to do other things, to keep flying back and forth to Mar-a-Lago and playing golf and not being around and caring about people. Have you all seen the lines, the food lines? A quarter of a mile long. You see all the cars. There are even soldiers in these lines getting food because they're not even paid enough. They're getting paid. They're not even paid enough to be able to eat. So we already see that, and we have a president who is just in a Congress that just says, hey, we're just going to yell at each other while people are going to go hungry. But remember, this is part one of what's going on out there. Is everything okay? People aren't getting their SNAP money. Energy, I don't know about in your areas, but in the last 3-4 weeks, I assume it comes from the belligerency of the Trump foreign policy. I'm sure there's also the oil processors or whomever are dealing with it in our area, but they have really raised prices in the last 3-4 weeks. I mean, surprisingly, now it's into the low threes on regular. I haven't seen the low threes on regular in a while. It's not new taxes. It's just been going up, and I've seen it in some other states around Maryland. So that's starting to go up. At the same time, you still go into the grocery store, and the prices are up like crazy. They have shown, based on that, here we go, in the grocery store, beef, coffee, sugar, milk, cheese is going up. Really, what isn't going up? The government on its own reported 3% inflation in the last year, which means that it's 3% every year. It doesn't go down, so 3% plus 3% is a whole lot more, and then another 3% is a whole lot more, and it keeps going and it keeps going. And what does the president say? It's fake news. Is everything okay? Is everything okay here in America? Homes. Can you buy a home? We're talking affordability. Is it possible to buy a home? Do you know, Joe, that the age of first-time home buyers in America, according to the National Association of Realtors, is 40 years old.
Used to be high 20s.
Whoa, think about that. And you'd be starting a family, or you'd be young and starting your business or getting your job and making some money. You could go out and buy a house. A lot less money, but it's not just that the first-time home buyer is 40 years old. Think about what it costs. You got not only interest rates, you have to put down a slug of cash. Now they're requiring incredible amounts of escrow. Escrow is money that the lender makes you put into an account to make sure they're protected on certain things. That's expensive. Insurance is through the roof. Repairs are through the roof. Wow. And we talk insurance, not just insurance for the house. You're talking flood. You're talking everything. It's a real problem. You can't afford a house. Is everything okay? It seems we've got the money for the president to be able to talk to private rich individuals to give him money, to put money into the White House. But we don't have the money. We don't have the money to be able to help people, or at least the knowledge or the smarts to be able to help people buy a home. Is everything okay, Joe? Is everything okay? How about energy? We talked about energy. How about the shutdown? This is what's sickness of it all. We got a total shutdown of the government. We've had it for a while. What has it led to? It has led to a whole bunch of congressmen and a president taking money and getting paid to do nothing. Run around and blame each other about what's going on, but won't sit in Washington and get the work done. You're hearing the Senate sitting in Washington, but it doesn't matter because the Senate deals with it. They don't have to go back to the House and there'll be issues. Everybody should be there. Why isn't the president there? Why is the president fighting SNAP payments to 42 million Americans kids who are hungry, and going down to Mar-a-Lago right now playing golf? Why is he doing all that instead of being here in America, up here in D.C., where he should be talking and demanding that the House and Senate be here and work something out? And why is there still a congressman, a congresswoman from Arizona that they will not even allow to be sworn in, that the Speaker of the House refuses? Is everything okay, Joe? Is everything okay? How about tariffs? Now the tariffs are in front of the Supreme Court. The tariffs are starting to carry on and really cost money. You sit there, you go, hey, I think Dr. V will be back with us here. Let's see. There's the doctor. We lost him. I don't know what's going on there. We're cooking. I think he had to take out to take it out. You take it out. It looks better. Okay, the doctor's back.
I had to cool down. Holy smoke.
So now here we are with the shutdown. Let's talk about this shutdown. What does this do? It puts people out of jobs. It makes sure that people don't have the money to pay their creditors. It makes sure that people don't have the money to feed their families. Look, take a step back and see what this shutdown is doing and what it's doing to the economy. The economy is already having a problem. As we stated earlier, the government says inflation's 3% a year. Right now, that's what it is. So you're dealing with that. On top of that, you've got a shutdown, so you now have people not working. If you're not working, you're not taking income and putting it into the economy. Rather, you're trying to save your money. Those people that you would put the money into the economy for, they're not getting paid, and you're not buying anything from them, so they can't hire people. And it just works its way through. It really becomes a self-perpetuating negative circle. Think about it. In the last month, Challenger, which is the major jobs reporter, one of the major ones who report layoffs, said that about 1 million layoffs were planned, the highest level in 22 years. So you've got a shutdown, you've got layoffs planned, you've got SNAP where there's no money going out to 42 million people, and look at what's happening to the lower area, to the lower part of America. When I say lower, I'm only talking economic. You got upper part, which is where the money is, and you got the lower part, which is the people who are having issues. Listen to these numbers. In the second quarter of 2025, 60% of the refis was equity withdrawal from a house at an average of $94,000. Now, Joe, how long have I been talking about home equity loans and trying to stay away from it? I've been saying, you see these ads on TV. How many months, Joe, we talked about this?
Months and months.
They go, it's easy. Get a credit card. Take your home equity and go to the Hilton and tan yourself at the pool, and you'll get points. But you're taking money out of your house. And I kept saying on there, please, if you're going to do it, only do it because you need the money. You got to pay something that's important, food or something like that. Don't take your equity out of your house. But what's happened, Joe, is 60% were $94,000. That's how much they're taking out of their homes. People, in the last second quarter of 2025, which means there's real cash. They need this money. We have a real issue. You ready for this? 22.8% of low-income credit card debt is 30 days past due. This is low income. So we're talking about people who don't have a strong, high income, who can buy stocks and pay $35 for a hamburger. They were talking about on Bill Maher last night, $35 for a hamburger. Auto loan delinquencies for subprime borrowers are at 6.43%. So what we're talking about is people on the economic rungs that are lower are really in trouble. They are really in trouble. They're in line for food. They can't pay people. But what Joe's going to talk about in a bit is it infects an entire economy and affects everything inside that economy. It's like you used to talk about the trickle-down theory. Remember, they were going to cut taxes and it trickled down to everybody. It really didn't. It trickled up to all the people with money. It's the same way here with the big, beautiful bill. While all these people are getting handled on the bottom end, the tax burden has been cut substantially for these super wealthy people. And they're all in there throwing in the money. Is everything okay, Joe? Is everything okay in America? I'm not so sure. Now I'm going to throw one more number out and then throw it out to Joe. But they're talking about health insurance premiums. In the Washington Post, they had a big article today. They talked to different couples and families and singles. Here's some of the numbers that just came out. In San Jose, a 59-year-old person, $492 to $1,260. In Chicago, two couple, 51 years old, $1,309 to $2,359 a month. In Pennsylvania, a 61-year-old person in Altoona, Joe, $670 now is to pay $2,054 for ACA. So think about this. A lot of these people are also getting SNAP payments, right? Food stamps, call it what it is, so that their kids can eat. So you're not getting your food stamps. You're not getting your SNAP. You can't afford your health insurance. You're not getting paid at work. I'm not even going to talk about the airports. Everybody knows about that. You're not getting paid at work. Joe, the bottom line is consumer confidence came in at 50.3%. A decline of 30% year after year. And the only people happy in the consumer confidence report were stockholders, who I don't know if is happy now. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe because I think I'm going to ask Joe this question. Joe, I know I may be going crazy. I know I may be going off. But if the answer to me is everything okay? And Joe says, I'm not so sure. My question to Joe goes, does this lead to more addiction, Joe? Does this bring people in, make people use drugs? Is it easy to use drugs when you don't have money? Can you always find the money for drugs when you can't find the money for food or clothes or stuff like that? Let us know. Can we be looking into that kind of abyss, Joe? And has it happened before?
Well, I've been talking with people who are living through the situation, and here's what I hear. I was talking to someone who has who works hard. She and her husband both have full-time jobs, and they have the ACA plan, and they have been paying about $2,000 a month for their health insurance. They just got informed that it's going to go up to about $4,000 a month. Okay. That's $48,000 a year. And they're not illegal immigrants. They're not even poor. They make a decent salary. But that insurance premium is so high, they're wondering whether they should continue to have insurance. And even though a lot of people felt optimistic on Tuesday when the results came in and they felt, well, maybe things might change, they're still looking around and they feel a sense of malaise. They feel helpless, that there's nothing that they can do. That sometimes they just want to deal with it by avoiding listening to the news or finding some other escape. And one of the escapes is that people are just saying, heck with it. Why do I even bother? There's nothing I can do. I might as well drink. I might as well do drugs. I'm just so discouraged that there's nothing to look forward to. So there's a huge malaise in this country right now. And if we don't do something about it and turn things around, people are going to be sick physically, sick mentally, sick behaviorally.
And you saw this happen before, didn't you, Joe?
Well, during the COVID pandemic, people weren't working. Social interactions were suppressed. People were just hanging around their houses. And what happened was people started drinking a lot more. So there was a big dramatic increase in alcohol consumption during COVID. And I also saw that even though it was hard to get together with people to buy drugs, people were still finding ways to buy drugs, to use opiates, and they were having a hard time coming in for treatment. And the net effect is the rate of people dying from opiate overdoses went up dramatically during COVID. I was hopeful that post-COVID things would get back to normal, but it seems like people are still feeling this sense of malaise, this sense of isolation, this feeling of helplessness. And so my question is, and I throw this out to the community here, is, if this is how things are trending, what can we do about it to stop it? Let's understand what goes into causing this problem, and how can we work together as a community to help each other through this?
We need to do that, Joe, but it's really tough when you got a president and a Congress that want to do nothing but take home money, put it in their pocket, have their health care, live good, play their golf, get tans, and say it's everybody else's fault instead of sitting down in a room and trying to get the thing worked out.
And Mark, I agree with you that morally,
not morally, they're getting paid for it.
That legally, morally, on whatever plane you want to look at it, that they should be doing more, but they're not.
Right.
But they're not. And we can be upset about it. We can rail about it. But the point is that people are not being held accountable. Why should they stop doing what they're doing when they're getting rewarded for it? They're still getting paid, right? They still have health care. They're still getting a lot of clicks on social media and getting donors to support them. Why should they stop? There's nothing holding them accountable. And so we can be upset about it, but it's not going to change until there's some consequences on people for doing things that are not helpful for the country.
Well, the consequences have just started with the election, and it's going to keep going as people get angrier and angrier, because when you have consumer confidence numbers like this, when you have prices going up, when you have people losing jobs, when you have quarter-mile food lines, when you have people who can't get health insurance, it's happening. People are really pissed off, Joe. I think it's, I'm throwing this data stuff out there, but I'm talking to people. They are really angry for good reason. I mean,
and I do want to say, to be fair, because this is a community where we enjoy all perspectives, that a lot of people would say, don't just blame Trump for this. Just don't blame the Republicans for this. It's something that's been a trend for many years, and neither party has really addressed it. And I can't disagree with that.
In the 90s, the budget was balanced. And I know what you're trying to talk to. You're trying to talk to Russell there.
Right.
And I was looking at it, but it's like you have long-term stuff, you got short-term stuff. And Russell's right, but we're not sitting here just saying it's Republicans. How many times I use the word Congress? I'm not saying Democrat or Republican. Why isn't Congress there? That's all we've been saying, Joe. Get your butt into Washington, earn your money, get out of the sun, quit getting a tan. And then how many times have I read in the Constitution the requirements of having to pay Congress, yet the word is services, and I question, are they providing services? Therefore, we shouldn't have to pay them. Look.
But
their own power,
why should they get together and work things out? That's the question.
I think Joe's leaving us again. Oh, he's back. Okay. He froze on us, Joe.
So the question is, why should they come together and work things out? And let me...
Because they're afraid they're going to lose their jobs. And they've just starting to see it, and they're going to realize it, because you're getting a few starting to branch off. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is, I don't know what to believe about her, okay? But she has been sounding so reasonable the last, after all those years of being a total schmo, I mean, I really dislike this woman. Wow. And she's telling it like it is. And I think she's speaking for others because she's not afraid to say it. And others in that party, I don't know how many there are afraid to say it. Trump ain't going to jump her. If he does, she doesn't care. She ain't going to lose her election. So she goes, hey, she loves Trump. He ain't going to jump her too hard. So she's saying things. I think that's out there. And when you look at these landslide of these two elections, and they won, the Democrats, I'm going to use it because they're the outsiders. The Democrats won in Georgia. The Democrats won in Connecticut. They're just winning in a lot of places. And the socialists lost in, what was it, Portland or Seattle and Minnesota. So when you have that going on, it's not what everybody thinks. People just want change. They want to know that the prices are going to go up every time you go into the store. They want to know that you don't have to worry about eating. They want to know that we as Americans can take care of our kids, the richest country in the world, and we're worried about food, about paying for food. Come on. So when Russell and people say, yes, it's been there around, the problem is, Russell, you got Trump cruising around the world thinking he wants his trophy to be able to be Mr. Peace, and he's not here in America taking care of the business. He ran saying he was going to reduce prices. He ran saying he was going to take care of affordability. He ran saying he was going to be better the minute he walked in. And all he's been doing is running around the world trying to be a big-time guy, getting a zillion, getting his king stuff, getting his golf clubs, getting everything, hoping for some peace trophy, which we'll get from FIFA, I'm sure, in a couple of months, instead of worrying about what's going on in America. And if any president was doing that, I'd be just as angry as at that president. It's so important that his butt be here. The president should be here saying to Congress, get in here and get this worked out. That's the president's job. Congress does the budget. President puts heads, knocks them together and says, work it out for the people because I, the president of the United States, represent the people. He represents the people, Joe, and he should be in there representing the people, telling those who purportedly also represent the people. Though remember, the Senate originally in the Constitution was not direct voting. You know that. It took like 100 years. So you need that, and it's not happening. So I'm with these guys, but I'm not going to roll over and go, oh, yeah, it's everybody. Yeah, it's everybody. But he's still the president of the United States. And the Republicans still control Congress, and they can do whatever they want to do. Ergo, the Speaker of the House not allowing an Arizona congresswoman to be sworn in. So they can do that. They can feed people, Joe. They want to do that. They can help with the health insurance. Instead of yelling for the last 15 years about how bad the ACA is, where has been the Republican alternative? Where has been anybody's alternative? There hasn't been. So I don't want to hear any moaning now. You need a year to keep this thing going, and people are entitled to food. Look at soldiers in line for food, Joe. This is Dr. V. He's sick about it. Let me tell you, I talked to Dr. V. He's always, because he says he knows I'm the emotional one. So Dr. V lets me get my emotions out. Then he does, never bills me. The emotions, the whole thing. And then he sits there, look at that smile. He knows me too well, unfortunately. But I know a couple things about him too. You're going to find out something about both of us at the end of this show. So definitely stay. Stay. And please subscribe to Just an American Citizen. And Joe, what are you now? What do you call yourself now? Dr. V?
Well, you would call me Unleashed. They're supposed to be Unchained, but nobody remembers that.
You told me you changed it. Okay, I want to make sure we're putting
Unchained. No, not Unchained.
It's Unchained Melody.
I'm sorry. What is? Let me look it up here.
And you changed it again.
I'm not Unchained. I'm
Just an American Citizen.
Screw it. I'm going to go back to Joe Talks, I think.
He'll come to something.
Unlocked. That's
unlocked. Now he's unlocked. Dr. V unlocked. Right on. Please go there. Subscribe. Please give us thumbs up. Please look at some of our stuff. I got so much stuff with Just American Citizen. Both of us do on our live. Please look at some of that. Let me keep looking at the mosh pit, Joe. Let's see what we got here. You know, Trump did put in on most of these tariffs. There's no argument there. Selling, here we go. Spartacus going crazy today, Joe.
Spartacus is in
But I
a
think
good voice today.
right. I think my facts went crazy too. I don't know what it is. Gets people worked up.
Thank you, Spartacus.
I'm not
I like to hear comments from people who have other opinions.
So would I. But there aren't any good ones because they know they got handled, Joe, because we're devolving. We're devolving. We're going backwards. We're turning into snails with little tails. And people don't want to talk about this stuff because they don't want, when they're hot and they're on top of the market, they're like, yeah, yeah. They come on, they start letting us have it. Yeah, 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 yeah. But when it's not like that, they kind of sit back. It's like, can't be so tough because they know we're talking the truth. They know it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, Independent. They know we're talking the truth, Joe. And that's why they get nervous when we start coming out with this. I mean, who expected facts like this today? Who
You're spitting out the facts.
Trying to figure out on that marble bathroom in the White House if Trump got a bidet. I'm still trying to figure it out, or is that too European for him? I have friends who like that stuff. So we look at now just all this. Look at this, Joe. Incredible. The problem now is, and it really is for real, we have that split in this country between rich and poor, and it's becoming really bad. It's getting really bad. Think about your person, and I really want people to think about this. It's hard unless you put yourself in their shoes, but you're a person who is living on the edge with a Visa card you're paying 25% on, and all of a sudden the SNAP money you've been expecting, what is it, like $6 to $10 a week? I think that's all it is, Dr. V. Is that all it is? So that's like, if it's 10, was it $40 you're getting, 50, 60 bucks?
No, I think you can get like a couple $100 up to
over the month.
On how many people are in the family.
That's just okay, but over the month. But it's
over the month, yes, yeah, over the month.
Money. I mean, it's good money, but you're sitting there only making what you're making, trying to make it happen. You're trying to pay for some health insurance. You get this couple $100 or whatever monthly. And a lot of people don't get that much. And now you need that to help feed your kids. American kids, 42 billion. And that money doesn't come in all of a sudden. Now, that money has to come from somewhere else to pay for that food, don't they? Because food's so important. So the money comes out and pays for food, but it doesn't pay for that Visa card. And that Visa card starts going as it gets bigger and bigger because you pay the minimum, you're paying it off in 500 years or something. So that doesn't work. Hopefully you're not paying off your home equity loan that you've been laying back in the sun at the Hilton using your credit card, having a good time with your home equity credit card. But you lose that money and then you can't, and then you pay the car. And now you're going to fall behind on your car payment because you pay this, but don't pay that. What is it, rob Peter to pay Paul? The problem is, it's just like Wimpy on Popeye. I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. You never got paid. You got the hamburger, but you never got the money Tuesday.
Look, that's the very definition of addiction. Addiction comes from a Latin word, addictare, which was a decree that a judge pronounced on someone who was in debt to someone else. And so the decree said that you are now a slave of that person because you owe them money. And then the notion is that a lot of people who are gambling and investing, they will get behind and then they would have to borrow more money at higher interest rates to pay their loans. But you get stuck in a vicious cycle where you're borrowing more money to pay your loans and you can't get out of that trap. And I think that's what a lot of people are feeling right now, that sense that they're just working harder to try and stay ahead, but they just keep getting further and further behind. Someone described us as having a K-type economy where one group is doing great and the other group is going down. And that seems to be where we're headed. And that doesn't sustain itself. And even the people who are doing incredibly well right now, that's not sustainable because at some point they're going to need people to buy their products. And if people don't have any money to buy their products, they're going to suffer. And so people need to look at the long-term health of our financial well-being in this country and also I would maintain our emotional and behavioral well-being, and they're related.
They very much are. You're right, Joe. And we saw some of these numbers of these who were delinquent on their payments, lower income people, and how bad it is. It's really got to prey on them. That's why I say you got to step into somebody's shoes to understand this. would never want to be in those shoes. But wow, when you're on the edge and suddenly you get $150 kicked out from underneath you. I used to do a lot of bankruptcy stuff. I dealt with a lot of stuff. You would see it. And it didn't take much to push somebody over. And then as soon as they did that, the question was, who's calling me? I have to answer to say, I'll give you $5 here, and I'll give you $5 here, and I'll give you $5 here. And we're not talking about normal debtor creditor in a basically good economy. This economy is okay, but right now it's falling apart because these people are having monies that they are expecting for basic human essentials, and they're turning it around. He'll be back. And then they'll come back, and now they don't know where they're going to get that money, and it puts them in a really bad position. Here he goes. We got to talk to this guy. Hold on. Jeez. So you're knocking me off. So we're going to have a charity bottle for Joe, for Dr. V, for his web. We got
the health of my internet connection now.
We got to do something for his web.
I don't know. It's doing worse.
It'll be a We Fund or whatever it's called, Go Fund or something for Joe. Dr. V, help him out. So I'm sorry. But that's our problem. So we're not going just a basic. I can't afford it because I got too far because I kept spending on Visa. It's I can't afford it because now I can't afford the food. And then I get the call, and then I get the knock on the door when the repo guy wants to pick up my car. And that's happening a lot. And you look at this, and it's really bad. And these people who are on a downward spiral, momentum just picks up. It doesn't stop. It just goes, and gravity pulls you down. And if you don't have any rocket ship fuel to blast your way out of it, you're finished. We got so many people are going to be a problem. And now, not only that, Joe, Dr. V, it's also going to really affect the economy badly. Because because this just seeps through the economy. You're not going to just suddenly hire these people back. You're not going to suddenly just give them all the money they need to be able to pay back for the food or whatever it is they got. You're not going to be able to give them that money. It's not going to work. So it's going to stutter its way through, and the car lines are going to get worse, and people aren't going to. It's just, where is America? Where are our leaders? Our president is out playing golf, going around the world, looking for a peace trophy, and Congress is running around, sunning themselves in front of C-SPAN, saying this is great, while we've got Americans who have lost their jobs, who are being thrown out of their jobs by the government throwing them out, who are being told you can't eat. Forget it, kids. 42 million Americans, food isn't important to you. Why should we make sure that 42 million Americans get food to eat? Why? But it's not that they get it. We're taking it from them. While the rich just live it big with their new taxes, new tax cuts. They're just going, really? This is cool, man. What island am I going to buy? What yacht am I going to buy? It's time, Joe. I got mad. But it's not just me. It's people out there. And that's why you're seeing it with these elections. That's why you're seeing it with people out in the No King's March walking around. And that's why you're starting to see this. People are sick and tired because as things get worse, is it okay? Is it okay out here? And let me ask you this. I'm going to throw this out to you. I know I don't want to get too deep into this, Joe. Joe is one of the man for addiction, but he's a great psychiatrist. Is everything okay? Part of my question is, we have a president who is going on TV the other day. I mean, we all know he lies. He likes to lie and the whole thing. But they're showing him numbers saying the affordability is a problem, man. It's a problem. People can't afford it. And he says it's all a fake. It's all a lie. It's all false news. It's ABC telling the world it's all jive. Why aren't we telling everybody that everything's great? Number one, that sounds like Sleepy Joe Biden, as far as I'm concerned. Don't you call him Sleepy Joe? Maybe we should be calling him Sleepy Don. It sounds like Sleepy Joe Biden. Bidenomics, everything's good. It wasn't good. They kicked these guys out. Now Trump is sitting there. My question to you is, does he really believe this? Does he really believe this? Or is he 80 years old and he is losing it?
I mean, let me say this.
Say it.
So I have not personally examined the guy, and so anything I say is not based on clinical judgment.
Right.
But having said that, from the outside,
your opinion is?
My opinion is, let me check with my lawyer first, that this guy seems to be suffering from what we call in the trade a narcissistic personality disorder. And his behavior is entirely consistent with it. And so I understand your anger and your rage. For me, I look at it a little bit differently because this is what people who have this disorder do. They're constantly looking for praise. It's almost as if they're addicted to praise. And that's his behavior. And you could say, well, he's bad, he's wrong, and all, but he's suffering from a disorder. Now, normally people who have this problem wind up meeting some sort of roadblocks where people say, enough of this crap, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And they throw the guy out on the rear end. But here's someone who, for some reason, has been able to bypass the normal guardrails about this sort of behavior, and it actually has gotten everything he could possibly want. He has all the power and all the money in the world. I've never seen this before in somebody who has this kind of disorder where they have everything that they ever wanted. And you would think that would be enough, that would fill that hole that he has for admiration. But each time somebody blows smoke up his rear end and gives him some award or some crown or whatever, instead of it feeling like it's enough, he wants more. He's not satisfied. It just, praising him just creates the need where he needs more praise. And I feel sorry for the guy at this point because he just wants to be loved and respected. He puts his name on all the buildings. I think now he wants his name on the football stadium for the Commanders.
Right.
He thinks that's going to buy him, that's going to fill that hole that he has. That's going to buy him immortality.
He's even getting a coin minted.
He's going to get a coin minted, everything. He has the fancy bathroom, the gold trimmings in his office. He's going to have the big ballroom. That isn't going to hit the spot. It doesn't hit the spot. You can see it. It's not enough. It's not enough. And what he needs, where he's wrong, and I hope people in the country can see this and don't follow his path, is that that's not what gives you immortality. Putting up signs about it with your name on it. What gives you immortality is giving back, is helping others. That's what makes you feel good inside. That's why people remember you. They're not going to remember the statues that you erect. They're going to remember the people that you helped. And I wish somebody could get to him and say, look, you're doing it wrong. You're not going to fill that hole with more money, with bigger signs, with more stadiums. You're going to fill that hole by giving back, by helping people who are hungry.
Joe, do you have an open appointment if I could set it up with him in front with you?
I would be happy to sit down with him and try to help him because at this point, it doesn't make sense to be angry at the guy. I don't think he can help it any more than someone who's addicted to crack cocaine and telling him to stop. You can be angry with them, but that's not going to change their behavior. This is who he is. He's incredibly honest about who he is. It's all right out there for everyone to see.
It sure is.
And he may even have good points and he may even have good ideas about certain things and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is his constant need for approval, and that makes him vulnerable to do things that are not healthy for himself, for the country, and at this point, given his position, for the world.
And meanwhile, he's losing Ukraine because he won't do anything with Russia. Just leaves him alone, lets him destroy and kill people because he does a lot of talking. But let's get back here. I'm in the mosh pit. I'm trying to see where we are here. Number one, please subscribe to Just an American Citizen or DR.V Joe Unlocked. Joe Unlocked, I think, right? Come on in, let us know what you think. Give us a thumbs up. Supreme Court, the tariffs can isn't going until July, Spartacus. It could be by the end of the year or January. The tariffs decision is going to come a lot faster than June. I think. I could be wrong. Okay, let's get it. Okay, we're into the mosh pit. So Democrats, everybody thinks everything is everybody else. The problem is everything is themselves. It's always this. It's everybody else's fault. Here we go. Rickster, let me get into this. Calls most are illegals and entitled people that are them thinking about. Good talking to you. Okay.
Well, Mark, I mean, I think a lot of people really believe that the problems are related to illegal immigrants. And
They're not coming in, Joe. Look, Trump, just so you'll know, stanking coach, thank you. We are Tuesdays. We are. Joe and I are Tuesdays. I wanted you to know that. He's an Italian Zadie. I'm Italian American Zadie. I'm an American Jewish Zadie. We're Zadies, baby. What are you going to say? But we're Americans. That's the best part. So I'm sorry, Joe. I saw that there, and I had to jump it. But we're looking at this stuff. Where are we? Joe? I'm sorry. I was trying to see how people, because I was way behind on the mosh pit. I'm just trying to see where people are coming in here. But we're getting people to come in to say, yeah. I mean, we're selling, here we go. Trump controls Congress, not the Republicans. That's true. But the Republicans are letting Trump control them. America fell when the leaders were convinced to legalize usury. Well, that was a long time ago, Lenore. Rob Peter to pay Paul. That's what we've been saying. Send Doctor. Here we go. He said they're looking, raising money for you. They're looking for you. My whole community is suffering. We are all hurting bad. Captain Rage. Captain, right on. We're hurting because America's leaders are cutting off food to Americans, are throwing Americans out of jobs. And let me throw this out too, Joe, because I want people to hear this when they see it. I know you always hear on TV, it's AI. You know, where the Challenger said that over 1 million were going to be laid off. And all you hear is AI, 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 A1, like Linda McMahon originally said, but AI, AI. I've heard this, and Joe's heard this for decades. It's always a reason they want to lay people off. There's always a reason, legitimate reason given, some economic reason to lay people off. These businesses always like to lay people off. And when they see another business lay people off, they lay people off. And it's a momentum thing, and they have to have cover. It's AI. I want to know how many of these businesses, when you look at them a year or so from now, if they've laid these people off, how much AI had to do with it. AI is big. AI is happening. AI is incredible. Joe and I are going to do an AI live stream because we've been digging. I'm digging into we've been doing so much AI. We're going to give you the Zadie version of AI and tell you how we're going to compare them all. That's a little side thing because we've been doing all the platforms, the chat box, whatever they're called. So we don't even know that, but we know how to deal with them. So, but that's what's going on. It's because companies are just laying people off. They don't care. If government's laying people off and companies are laying people off, how's our economy going to make it? We have quarter-mile lines for food, for cars. They're going to be half-mile. They're going to be a mile because we're not dealing with what's going on. And if people don't get angry, and if people don't get out in the streets, all we hear about is we're going to have to send out the National Guard for this or that. I'm going around in our city, and I've seen some other cities. People are just so worried about keeping a job, having money, putting food on the table, and getting health insurance and other things and paying their bills. They ain't worried about going out and making trouble. Leave these people alone, will you? And maybe these are certain thuggish icers who love to go running into a child care center and yank a lady out of there who ended up, I think she had like a problem because she was speeding or something before, but wasn't illegal, Joe, wasn't illegal. So we have all this going on. It's just this hate and violence and separating the country while the poor, because this is Trump's way of ignoring what's going on. Immigration is no longer a problem, Joe. You want to get out the bad guys or get most of the bad guys. There's no immigration. It's no longer an issue. Now all they want to do is blow up people in boats. So here we are. Is everything okay? I don't think so. I think our economy's in big trouble. And I'm going to ladle on one more little piece. I hope people look at this and really, because we've been on this. If you go into Just American Citizen, we've been talking about this on our live, Dr. V and me, for months on how bad bad things are going. And keep this in mind too, because we've seen this. You know, Jamie Dimon talked about termites, and I give him credit, Joe. He didn't put any money into the ballroom. He said ethics are ethics. I say right on, Jamie Dimon. You don't take sides. You want to get involved in the inauguration, stuff like that, that's fine. But not for this, where you're hiding who it is, and it's all to try to get an influence and run with it. But the Fed chairman warned Friday about these hedge funds and all the money the banks are putting into hedge funds. I don't know how many of you have seen, there was one subprime car dealer that went under, was a major one, sold a lot of loans, hundreds of millions of losses there, it looks like, or a whole lot of it. You had the parts company that did the same, they're in trouble. The question becomes, all this money that nobody's talking about, this dark money, and loans are going out to all these companies that nobody sees. As they start to fall, it becomes like it's just the momentum just kind of leads from one to the other. We've seen this so many times. I'll tell you this, when they open up your 401k to be able to purchase stuff from these people, you're crazy. If you buy any of this private stuff on a 401k, I'm not an economist, strictly my opinion, okay? But there's nothing to back it up. You don't know where it is. You buy a stock, you can sell it tomorrow, right? You buy a bond, you can sell it or you get interest. You buy this stuff, you're buying into limited partnerships and stuff. Your money's tied up, and you're tied up. And please don't pull money out of your house unless you have to. But Joe, it's just bad out there. So I just think when you look at that on top of everything else, we got a problem. We're going back. We're going way back. We're going to Devo, and I'm telling you something. I'm about, Joe, to go back to my de-evolution. I got to point this out. The music that we're laying out today, I have to make an admission. I've always said I have a little hearing issue. I mean, I love pop, even though I'm a rocker. When you get bummed, when things are going bad, we're all yelling at each other. Put in a little music. You ready? Uh-oh. Don't hold this against me. Saturday Night Fever. I love Saturday Night Fever. I love the Bee Gees before they were on Saturday Night Fever. I love Travolta. I loved all of it. How can you not listen to this music and dance? Of course, back then, when this came out, if you were a rocker and you admitted you listened to this, finished, not allowed into the next concert. But I never admitted it until you could. Then, of course, you all know about, I don't know, when the stadium, when they took all the disco albums, they threw them in and burned them up. I didn't burn mine up. I still got it. And I got my Barry White, too. God, I love Barry. Yeah, okay. I mean, you can just do it, man, Barry White. Oh, and we were singing originally. I'm about to start. I'm stopping myself to do my Barry White imitation. Either way, when you're feeling bad or dealing with this kind of stuff, it just says, how do you put it? Don't always get mad. I agree. Put on the music. Listen to it. Music doesn't do anything except make you feel better, make you just kind of take it out and make you think, maybe come up with ideas. And I'm going to ask you all this too. Please share our live stream. Please share our Just American Citizen and Dr. V Unlocked. Let people see. We don't care if you're right wing. We don't care if you're left wing. We don't care if you're middle wing. We don't care if you cover the northwest, east, or south, or outer space. We love America. We love our people. We love our mosh pit. We love laying it out. We love the First Amendment. And we love you all. And that's why we have a flag in the background here. Whenever you see Just an American Citizen, you go on. We've had an American flag there for since it's been open. I think it's like 10, 12, 13 years. Because Joe and I believe we love America. America's the greatest. We got issues, though. And we're bringing them out. Please watch us this Wednesday, 5 o'clock, 5 in the afternoon Eastern time. We are on this. Please go to Just American Citizen, subscribe. Dr. V, Joe, Unlocked, subscribe. Watch some of our stuff on Just an American Citizen. Look at just some of the titles on our live. See if we aren't on top of it. And please let us know what you think. We love you guys. We appreciate everything. We got to cut off a little bit early because I'm hoping the Ravens turn it around with 3-5 and hope we take out the Vikings. Are the Eagles playing this week, Joe?
Monday night, Green Bay.
They'll take them out, the Packers.
I don't know. This is going to be tough.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm just hoping the Ravens come out 4-5 because if we don't, the season's over. Either way, rock and roll. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all Wednesday at 5. Please feel free to comment. If you're square, we ain't there. And Joe, that's the way it is.
Period.
Thank you all, and we'll see you in a few days.